What we need is nothing short of the things I'm suggesting. Taking back our gold reserve is a wise move. Trying to weather the storm that is coming. And I know people said before, remember the banking crisis, when we asked an audit, and that was even refused, an audit of our gold, which to this day makes people, not just me, higher ups, very nervous. Is that gold indeed still there? You know, depending collapse, Petro Dollar, an end to the Ponzi scheme, the start of a new Ponzi scheme in the West then, of course, unless we Europeans take advantage of this collapse, and instead of, like it always happened before, that they take advantages of collapses, because we somehow always get steered into accepting all sorts of crazy shit. On behest of us, a handful of people signed certain documents and poof, there you go. Now it is Kaliningrad, no longer Königsberg or any other example out there. Doesn't matter how far you look back in history. Greece, very recent, with that collapse. An appointed banker as head of state. So yes, we were forewarned what the EU would look like. We were forewarned. And they never tell you the fine print in the Treaty of Lisbon. You know, the small print, the fine print, the hidden exceptions in your God-given rights. Look it up. Look at Professor Schachtschneider, Professor Emeritus Constitutional Law, who was warning already in 2009 what it means if the EU feels threatened by an economical or social collapse. We will see both, very apparent for us all. In case of a war or wartime threat, then all your God-given rights, including your right to live, your right not to be killed, basically, will be suspended. You don't believe me? Well, take it up with the professor. I'm just a stupid, silly student who listens to this professor, who listens to his legal arguments. Unlike, for example, those fellas with cute memes with doggies like that one. Those simpletons who help even this system. Well, it suits them, of course, because after all, we saw a system like the EU before. Many times. Many times. In many different places, in Italy, in Germany, in Spain, in Greece. And we also saw how those revolutions went about against fascism. So, now we got to a state of fascism on steroids. It's no longer one country there and slowly start to grow. No, we are beyond that level. We are far beyond that level. Because back then, in those days, there were people warning, hey, please open your eyes, please pay attention to what they are really saying to you. And they were called also crazies and conspiracy theorists. Yes, they took it from Hitler. Amazing. And terrorists. If they resisted, Germany called the resistance terrorist. The USSR called resistance terrorists. The USA to this day calls resistance terrorist. Heck, they even call you. And if I would live in the USA, someone who truly believes in I have only one king, one authority, and I will defend my right, my God-given rights, to the extent that I even would use arms. Yes, I'm not a American, but I'm a firm believer in the Constitution of America. I would never immigrate to America, never, ever, ever. Heck, I'm sure I'm even on a no-fly list. I mentioned that already in 2015 to someone who claimed his brother is in the NSA, some deputy director. He could check for me, give me your passport. Well, back then, already long time, war on terror and people's opinions, that you could end up on these no-fly lists just for your opinion, right? Not for actions. So the signs were there a long time. Yeah. It kicked off with 9/11 on steroids. That's when the war on you and me started. Like really, the war on you and me started. To start the process of getting your hands on as much as possible resources, overthrow as much as possible governments, be it by implanting your bankers, like a governor, and then guarding the interest, then of course make sure that you have a good military presence as well, in accordance to your interest in those places. So yeah, I dare to say, my dear fellow Europeans, the Second World War did not end. That was just a fucking ceasefire. Yeah, we enjoyed that ceasefire for the last 75 years, only to rebuild and try to do it once again. Never forget, Hitler tried to overtake at some point everything. Lebensraum, resources. And we do the same without Hitler. So I dare to say that we can safely conclude that the same powers to be have been fooling us around for the better part of a century at least. At least. Be it about your liberties, be it about why we have a schooling system, the right on labor, and the right on education, so we would not have uneducated people who then can be easily fooled in this game of democracy and choice. Then that right turned into a mandatory homeschooling. Oh, heck, rather not. Christian values. Oh, holy shit. No, no, no. And if you believe in equality, then, hey, in that same Christian school should be then also a satanic Bible class. Right? America, USA, patriots, Christians, European Christians. You know what they fear the most? What they really fear the most? Shall I tell you a dirty little secret? Remember the Canadian trucker convoy, right? And due to, for example, Rebel News and Redacted and a lot of other of the alternative media who really grew bigger and bigger during the COVID period. What they fear the most is that you are informed. What they even fear more than you being informed is if you unite, like we saw with the trucker convoy, the farmer protests. And what they fear even more than those individual units, farmers individual, truckers individual, mandated vaccination orders, dictates, protesters, yellow vests for all sorts of rights. What they fear the most is if all those little entities, all those little protests grow together into we are united, we, the people. We now finally recognize on all these little islands, in all these nations across borders, across oceans, we, the awakened giant, we, the people, we finally figured out that if we really want to have freedom and democracy, then we have to go after our common enemy worldwide. Worldwide. All at the same time. How else are you, America, gonna free yourself? Hear me out on this. How else, America, are you gonna free yourself from the grips of the Fed? Like the founding fathers intended you to be, free, independent. And how else can you then be safe? Let's assume you cancel the Fed, but leave them in control in all the other continents where they have their control. They will destroy you, America. They will. Heck, they are already doing so. Because they know the Ponzi scheme is at its end. They just want others to hold the worthless paper with all the state bonds issued to European countries, and Japan, for example, recently in the news, huh, having the biggest American debt in their hands. So most likely they will be the ones, because they try to ditch it and they cannot. Most likely they will be the ones of the dominoes that will fall to be the first ones. So, but if inevitably the USA, the last domino, toing, will go as well on the weight of all that other. And then we're gonna have this who's gonna pay who when everyone is bankrupt. And that's exactly what those people behind the Fed, behind those Western central banks, those private banks, those private bankers want. They want a collapse. Their assets are already safe in our gold, by the way, that they took after the Second World War, in the BRICS. You don't see how this game works. And then they will come back to you, America, a destroyed country. No? And like Kissinger said, they will establish that one world government, whether you like it or not, be it just a question of conquest or consent. And when you are so fucking desperate for food and your children crying, etc., etc., like a real war zone, not per se a war between Russia and America on American soil or European soil. No, between ourselves. Ourselves. Yes, you guys on the USA continent, far, far away, like de Gaulle said. Huh? The UK on its island, far, far away. Well, not so far away. You can swim. And us, Europeans. But the other side, the BRICS, they will be okay. A-okay. Huh? 3/4 of the world, they will be just A-okay while we collapse. As they intend. As their intent is. And unfortunately, I am one of the few. Heck, I think I am even the only one. If you know someone else, please tell me. I would gladly join with someone. I'm the only one who calls out that we need to take this on globally. Globally. Yeah. Or else we have to come off our little nationalistic, egocentric islands before they will go to this extent to collapse us. They rather see us all destroyed and of course try to survive somewhere else themselves, but you and me rather destroyed, like like this greedy little kid who rather would shit on the candy that he doesn't like the taste of in particular than sharing it with another kid. He rather would shit on it than sharing it with the other kid. They would rather destroy everything than seeing us Europe free. Yes, so I dare to say I'm a lonely voice out there. No, there is many alternative media and I'm not alternative media. I have my opinion as a concerned European, as a Christian European who loves the fact that Europe has such a rich history. all sorts of influences in religion, in people, in on and off empires that came and crumbled. And that gives me hope. That really fucking gives me hope. That this EU empire, this bankers' empire, will also crumble and fall. Because if we don't let them come back, let's assume worst case scenario. Before people listen to my warning, that we will collapse, regardless what way, we will collapse. So, if people do not listen now, then maybe they will remember in about 3 to 5 years. That's my estimation. They will let it linger on for 3 to 5 years, this desperation in Europe. Not this current, present desperation for people. No, I'm talking about, kind of like the people in Gaza experience in the moment. That kind of desperation. They will let that linger on for a few years until they are really, really, really sure that you will indeed give up immediately your house, your property, your rights on property, etc. As being the collateral after all. Again, a state doesn't own shit. That organ called the state doesn't own shit. You, I, the people. We owe that stuff. It's ours, not theirs. Really, it isn't. And those corporations who, like a Canadian corporation who then sucks dry the gold reserves, the gold of Romanians, or other companies who suck out its gas, oil, or anywhere else in the world. Companies who do not belong there, who have no interest whatsoever to support your nation. Nothing at all. And then they say, hey, it's just business, nothing personal. No, well, we should say the same. This is just business. Dear private bankers, nothing personal. Heck, I will even allow you to keep your real estates, unlike what you wanted for us. Some real estates belong to the national treasure and will be given back to the national treasure, not in some private entities, holdings and so on. No. But your private house, where you have your domicile, just like anyone else, you can keep. Heck, we will even allow you to keep your fiat money. But we will take our gold back. Thank you for keeping it for us. We will run the show ourselves in the bank. Yes, we have very capable administrators who will do their job then very transparent. And we have no more obligations, quid pro quo, towards each other. A peace treaty. Very humane. Or we still take over the bank. We take everything you took from us. We will count it, we will calculate it, we will hold you accountable for the very last death that you are responsible for. And you will face then indeed a different kind of trial by the very same standards, legal standards, international standards, don't worry. We don't torture you. Huh? And if we need to extract information, then of course it will be in the most accepted forms, as we saw in the last 25 years in the war on terror, in the same kind of facilities, and we will get to the bottom of everything. Epstein lists and so on. Like really fucking everything. To the last little dirt that we can find. Huh? The truth shall set ye free. Well, there is your peace treaty that I propose to those powers to be. And yes, I might be the only lonely voice who is saying these kind of things out loud. Heck, let's be honest, is even illegal in a lot of countries to say these kind of things out loud. Well, it's still my little diary and my freedom of thought and speech that I will never render freely. I will never render freely my God-given rights. Never. Never ever. Unlike, yes, unfortunately, about 95% of the population did during COVID. But I will never. Just never. I will never bow for anything else. Never, ever. I didn't do so as a kid, and I still will not do so now. So, my dear Europeans, Ollie, what do you think? Is it time? Is it time to stop what will be destroying us? Your choice. Like I keep saying, your choice just as much as mine. Mine is to call people, please think. Please think with your heart, with your compass, with your God-given compass. And less with your brains. Huh? No, use your brain. Don't get me wrong, otherwise people start to call me again some sick patient. No, use your brain. But stop for fuck's sake. For God's sake. Stop trying to defend other people's reasoning. You will never know their motives unless they confess them. Have a nice day.